Today, we'll be looking at measurements and conversions. Let's start with this example. Let's say we wanted to convert 5 kilometers to miles, or 5 kilometers to meters, or 100 kilometers per hour to miles per hour, or to meters per second. Another example. We want to convert 526 meters squared to feet squared, or 300 meters cubed to inches cubed. So these are some of the questions that we'll be looking at. We'll have to take into consideration the methods of rounding that we have previously learned. Okay, to get started, there are two main systems of measurements. One is called the imperial, which is your miles, your inches, your pounds, etc. Then we have what is called the SI unit, Systems International. We have your meters, kilograms, etc. Okay, so that's it there, the base units, feet, pounds, gallons, etc. Sometimes it's referred to as the customary units. Now, the other unit is called the SI units. This is French actually. I know nothing about French, so I won't try to pronounce that word. Now, this system uses different what we call base units. Okay. For example, the base units here are meters, which is a unit of length, symbol M. Unit of time is seconds, symbol S. Unit of mass is grams, symbol G. Amperes, A. Candela, CD, Kelvin, K, and mole, M. Just to make a point here, for the SI unit of mass is really kilograms, not gram. But for this course, we'll just use gram, and you'll see why very shortly. Okay. This chart here is very useful, and I'll show you how to use it. Very shortly, we'll be going into conversions between one unit and another, or even between units, multiples of a particular unit. So let me just show you how this is used here. Say just notice here that we have 10 to this. This is the base line here, the base. So this could be like meters or grams or whatever other unit. Okay, it could be whatever. So when we go in that, as we go from bottom to top, the value increases. They get bigger and bigger. For example, a millimeter here is a lot smaller than a kilometer. So you increase in size as you go from bottom to top. Let's say we wanted to know how many centimeters are there in a hectometer. So we're going from centi to hecto. The easiest way to do it is to look here. You see like a -2 there, okay? And you will see a 2 there. So you take the 2, the top one, the topmost one, and subtract the bottom one. So 2 minus -2 is the same as 2 plus 2, which is 4. So what it means is that 10 to the 4th centimeter, or whatever it is equal to 1 hectometer. 10 to the 4th is the same as a 1 with 4 zeros. Centimeter is 1 hectometer. Okay, that's one case. Let me do another important case here. If you wanted to go from nanometer, for example, to megameter. So again, we take the exponent here, the 6. So it's going to be the 6, and you're taking away the -9, which is 6 plus 9, which is 15. So therefore, you can say that 10 to the 15th nanometer is the same as 1 megameter. I'm going to write uppercase M, megameter. And this is the same as a 1 with 15 zeros. We're going to now be looking at something called the unit factor method. The unit factor method is a method that is used to do conversion, say, between the metric system or the imperial system, or between metric and imperial, or imperial and metric. All right. Before I do the method itself, let's talk about what is called unit factors. Here's an example. 12 inches is 1 foot. So if 12 inches is 1 foot, if two things are equal, what happens if I divide one by the other? Right? So I have 12 inches is 1 foot. Consider your foot, which is why I think a foot is called a foot. It's roughly 12 inches. So if I divide the length of my foot by the length of my foot, I must get 1. Anything divided by itself, it's 1. So 12 inches divided by 1 foot is 1. Now, if I were to switch it over and put 1 foot at the top and 12 inches at the bottom, it doesn't make any difference. I'm still going to get 1. Okay, so for this conversion, I'm getting these two unit factors, right? This unit factor on the left and that on the right. So for every conversion factor, you could get two unit factors. Here's another one on the left here. I'm going to call this 1, 2, and 3. From the chart, you know 1,000 milliliters is a liter, so because you're converting between milliliters and liters, so you have to find the conversion from the chart. From this, I could get two unit factors. I could get 1,000 milliliters over 1 liter. It's the same as 1 liter over 1,000 milliliters. Now we want to go between kilograms and grams, either one way or the other. Again, we know that 1,000 grams is 1 kilogram. So from that, we could get two unit factors, which is 1,000 grams over 1 kilogram. It's the same as 1 kilogram over 1,000 grams. Now here's a third example. Just to mention, we have 10 to the 6 micrometers is 1 meter. You could, if you wanted, put 10 to the negative 6 meters is equal to 1 micrometer. Let me write this properly here. Meters is that. Now I prefer to just stick with the positive ones. So I'm always going from the bottom of the chart to the top of the chart. Okay, and then you'll always get positive values here. So let's use this one. So we're going to have now 10 to the 6 micrometer over 1 meter is the same as 1 meter over 10 to the 6 micrometer. All right, so with that, we'll just move on to the unit factor method next. Okay, so now that we've learned what a unit factor is, we're going to use that unit factor to do some conversions. So here are some things you could read, but I'll go through one example with you, then I'll go over what's here, and you'll see. I'll explain as I go along. So here is one. We want to convert two, let me call this example 1 again, 2, and 3. We want to convert 245,000 millimeters to meters. So the first step is to find what is the conversion between millimeters and meters. So if you go to the on your chart and you do what we did earlier, you will see that we have 1,000 millimeters. That's giving us 1 meter. Okay. From this, we could get two unit factors as we just did. We could write 1,000 millimeters over 1 meter. It's the same as 1 meter over 1,000 millimeter. Now our question is now to convert 245,000 millimeters to meters. Well, we're going to be either using this unit factor on the left side or on the right side. But remember that each of these unit factors, it's equal to 1. So if I multiply this by 1, it doesn't change. But we know that 1 can be either what's on the left or on the right. So that's what we do. We're going to multiply this by a unit factor. Now, which one do we use, left or right? Well, because we have millimeters in the numerator here, you could look at this as over 1. You don't have to do it, but it's over 1. So the millimeters is in the numerator. So you want to find the unit factor with the millimeter in the denominator. So we have to choose that one, and you'll see why shortly. So I'm going to write 1 meter here and 1,000 millimeter. Now keep in mind, just look at this for a while. If I have like A times B over B times C, notice there's a B in the numerator, B in the denominator, so I could divide them out, I could cancel them out, and I end up with A over C. So likewise, I could cancel this millimeter with that millimeter there, and I'm left with meters. Okay, so my final answer is going to be 245,000 divided by 1,000, so I get 245, and the unit that's left is the meter, so that's meter. Okay, final thing, we have to round all conversions. You have to round based on accuracy or number of significant digits. So you examine the thing you're converting from and see how many significant digits are there. So this has just 3 significant digits. Refer to your notes on significant digits. So our final answer needs to have 3 significant digits also, which it does have. So that's our final answer. Let's look at another example here. We have 602 kilograms to grams. So again, we know that there's going to be 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. And again, you could get 2 unit factors. 1,000 grams over 1 kilogram is the same as 1 kilogram over 1,000 grams. Now we have 602 grams, and we multiply that by a unit factor. So because we have grams in the numerator, we want grams in the denominator. So we're going to use this one. So 1 kilogram, 1,000 grams. The grams will go. Now I'm dividing 602 by 1,000. You get 0.602 kilograms that's left. And the original question had the original number measurement had 6, 1, 2, 3 significant digits. Remember, 0 between significant digits are significant, so that 0 is significant. So this now is our final answer, 0.602 kilograms. Okay? Now for the final one, I want you to verify that the answer is 2150 milliliters. You could do that as an exercise. Let's look at some conversions involving the imperial units. Okay, now we had a chart previously showing the metric units. So here you're given a chart which is an imperial chart. For example, for length, you know that 12 inches is 1 foot, 3 feet, 1 yard, 50 to 80 feet is a mile, 8 ounces, 1 cup, 2 cups, 1 pint, 2 pints, 1 quart, 4 quarts, 1 gallon. 16 ounces, 1 pound, and 2,000 pounds is 1 US ton. Okay, let's do a conversion here. Now keep in mind that the unit factor method that we used previously, we use it all over again. So let's do this example. We have 24.75 inches to feet. So we want to know, well, what is the conversion between feet and inches? Well, it's right here. 12 inches is 1 foot. So we write 12 inches over 1 foot. It's the same as 1 foot over 12 inches. Now, we want 24.75 inches to convert it to feet. So we have inches in the numerator, so we're going to need inches in the denominator. So we use this unit factor. So 1 foot over 12 inches. The inches go. You divide 24.75 by 12. You could do that on your calculators. And you should get 2.0625 feet. If we look at this, we see that this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 significant digits, whereas we only had 4 here. So we have to round our final answer to 4 significant digits, which is going to be 2.062 feet. Okay? And remember that rounding thing we did previously with the special rounding rule, when the last digit after the one we're rounding is a 5. So go back and do a review, and you will see where this is a 2 and not a 3. Okay? Now, this last one here is we're converting 5 feet, 6.5 inches to inches. So essentially, we just have to convert the 5 feet to inches, then add the 6.5 inches. Okay, so let's do that. So again, we have 5 feet. We multiply by the unit factor. Now we want feet to be in the denominator, so now we use this one. So 12 inches over 1 foot. So the feet goes, we're left with 5 12 is 60 inches. So therefore, now we could say that 5 feet, 6.5 inches is just a 60 plus 6.5, which is 66.5 inches. Okay, and then that's our final answer. Let's look at this example with a bit of a twist. We want to convert 24.75 pints to gallons. So we're going from pints to gallons. Now if you go back and you look here, you see that pint would be right here and here also, and gallons is right here. Now we don't see a conversion directly from pint to gallons. We see from pints to quarts, and then quarts to gallons. So that's what we'll have to do there. So we know that 2 pints, 1 quart, and 4 quarts make a gallon. Now from here, we could write 2 unit factors. 2 pints over 1 quart. It's the same as 1 quart over 2 pints. Likewise, in this second conversion here, we have 4 quarts over 1 gallon. It's the same as 1 gallon over 4 quarts. Let's do the problem now. So we have 24.75 pints. Now we have to go from pints to quarts. So because we have pints in the numerator, we want pints in the denominator. So we're going to put 1 quart there and 2 pints there. So right away the pints will go, and I'm left with quarts. So the next step is to go from quarts to gallons. We have quarts in the numerator, so we want quarts in the denominator. So we're going to use 1 gallon over 4 quarts. So now the quarts will go there, and we're just left with 24.75 times 1, which is just 1, and you're dividing by the 2 times 4, and we're just left with gallons. Now, if you plug that in your calculator, you should get 3.09375 gallons, in fact, US gallons. But because our original question or original measurement had 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 significant digits, we need to have 4 significant digits here also. So it's going to be 3.09 and 4. The 3, we look to the right, is bigger than 5, so we add 1 here, and that is gallons. We're going to now do a converting between metric and non-metric, or metric and imperial. It's again, class, it's exactly the same thing, nothing new here. You just need what the conversions are, and then you just make a unit factor, choose the appropriate one, and then round based on accuracy or number of significant digits. This is a little bit easier, so I'll skip this one. I'll just give you the answer, and you could verify it later on. It's going to be 21,000 grams. Okay, but I'm going to do this one for you. Again, it's nothing miraculous, nothing new here. So we want to go from 15 kilometers to miles. So we have to see, well then, what's the conversion between kilometers and miles? Well, it's right here. Let's get rid of these. So this one circle here is the conversion between kilometers and miles. So from that, we could get 2 unit factors. 1 mile over 1.61 kilometers is the same as 1.61 kilometers over 1 mile. So now we have 15 kilometers, and we have to multiply that by a unit factor. Now we have kilometers in the numerator, so we want kilometers in the denominator, so we use the first one. So 1 mile over 1.61 kilometers, the kilometers will go. Now we're left with 15 divided by 1.61 because of in the denominator. If you divide, you're going to get 9.31677,019 miles. But clearly that's just too many significant digits. Our original measurement had just 2 significant digits. So we have to round to 2 significant digits. It's going to be 9.3 miles. And that's our answer. We're going to be looking at what we call rate conversions. So rate normally involves a unit of time. All right, so we have an example here, 25.0 kilometers per hour, which means that in every 1 hour, you've traveled 25 kilometers. So at some point, we're going to have to convert our kilometers to meters, and also from hours to minutes. So we're going to need those too. So number 1 here shows you the conversion between meters and kilometers. 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. And number 2 here says that we have 60 minutes in 1 hour. So let's look at this now. It doesn't make any difference whether you change from kilometers to meters first or from hours to minutes first. It makes no difference, but we'll go from kilometers to meters first. So we want to change our kilometers to meters. So we're looking at number 1. We're going to have to get 2 unit factors, but the one we want is the one with kilometers in the denominator. So we'll have 1 kilometer there and 1,000 meters there. So the kilometers will go. Now we are left with meters here per hour. Meters per hour. Now we have to get rid of change our hours to minutes. Okay, so now we have to use the second one here. Because we have hours in the denominator here, we want hours in the numerator. So we're going to have 1 hour and 60 minutes there. So now the hour will go with the hour, and we're left with 25 in the numerator, 25.0 here times 1,000, and then we're dividing by the 60. And our units now is going to be the meters per minute. Meters per minute. Now, if you do that calculation, you will get 416.6 repeating, right? And this is now going to be meters. You could also write it as meters slash minute / per minute. But our original question had 3 significant digits, so we have to round this to 417 meters per minute. Okay, so that wasn't difficult. Now the second one I'm going to give you as an exercise to do. I'll display the answer, and you could look at it. We're going to be looking at conversions involving areas. Let us just jump right into an example because the method isn't going to be much more different from what we've done previously. Now you see here 2-step method, 1-step method. I'm just going to use 1 step. It's the same thing really. Here's an example. We have 306,000 meters squared, and we want to go to square feet. Now square feet is the same as feet squared. All right. So we'll do this by multiplying by a unit factor. If you look right here, you'll see we have a conversion between meter and feet. So let us ignore the meters squared for now and treat this as if it were purely meters. If that were the case, we would put 1 meter there and 3.28 feet there. No, we run into a problem. We run into a problem because we can't cancel this meter with that meter squared. And in any case, if we did, we'd end up with feet and not feet squared. So what do? But it's simple. We just simply square that side. Keep in mind that if I had something like A over B all squared, it's the same as A squared over B squared. So in this case, the 3.28 would be squared, and my feet would also be squared to give me feet squared, and my 1 would be squared, and my meter would be squared to give me meters squared. So that meter squared goes with that meter squared, and I'm left with the 306,000 times 3.28, and my units would be feet squared. Now, if you put that in your calculator, you're going to get 329,2070.4. Now we clearly have to round. The original measurement has 3 significant digits, so this now has to be rounded to 3 significant digits. So 329 followed by 4 zeros, and that's feet squared. Now we could write this in scientific notation by going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 3.29 times 10 to the 6th feet squared. And that's our final answer. Let us now look at a problem involving volumes. I'll only do one of these problems here because they're all the same. So let's do this one. We want to convert 450 millimeters cubed to centimeters cubed. So we have to see, well, then what is the conversion between millimeter and centimeter? Again, you know how to get this. 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter. So let's look. We have 450 millimeters cubed. We're going to be multiplying by a unit factor. So we use this conversion over here and get our unit factor. Assume that we didn't have a cube there. So we would want millimeters to be in the denominator. So we would have 10 millimeters there and 1 centimeter. As in the case of the areas, we would, instead of now squaring, we would cube both sides. So the millimeters cubed would go, and we are left with 450 divided by 10 cubed. You have to be very careful. It's the same as 450 divided by 10 cubed, and our answer now would be centimeters cubed. And if you were to do this, multiply this out, you're just going to get 0.45 centimeters cubed. You see, 10 cubed is 1,000, so we divide by 1,000, move the decimal place 3 places to the left, and you get that. Okay? Now, our original answer has 2 significant digits. This and conversion also has 2, so that's as far as we go.